Of class 12th, it is a very important point in annual examination point of view. Force between two parallel current carrying conductor and hence define 1 ampere. This is very important question. Suppose here we have two conductor AB and CD, straight conductor. They are kept parallel to each other in air or vacuum. Distance between them r and current flowing through them, suppose I1 and I2. So both will produce their own magnetic field. Correct? So first we have to count what is the produced magnetic field at point P, which is at distance small r from the conductor. So yes, it is equal to mu 0.4 pi I1 by r sin theta 1 plus sin theta 2. Since its length is not defined, so length is supposed to be infinite. So theta 1 and theta 2 both are 90 degree. So become B1 is equal to mu 0.4 pi 2 I1 by r. What are the direction of magnetic field B1 at point P? For this purpose, suppose this is current carrying conductor, and when we need to hold it by right hand in such a way that the curl of finger represent the direction of magnetic lines of force and this thumb will represent the direction of current. So see here, when we need to hold AB, so we insert our forefinger downward at point P and it come out from other side of the conductor AB. So here at point P the direction of magnetic field is perpendicularly downward. Correct now? So yes, its direction is perpendicularly downward. So this is the magnetic field at point P which is produced by AB. So since second conductor kept in that magnetic field which is produced by first, so this conductor will experience a force, and force in per unit length, it is equal to B1 I2 L sin theta upon L. So it get cancelled to become F2 dash is equal to F2 dash upon L infinity, become B1 I2. Here theta is again 90 degree. Theta is the angle between here conductor and magnetic field. So both are perpendicular. So F2 dash become F2 dash upon L infinity. This is the force in per unit length, that is B1 I2. And putting the value of B1 from first equation, so you will get mu 0.4 pi 2 I1 I2 by R. So according to Fleming left hand rule, the direction of this produced force, this force which is experienced by second conductor CD, is towards AB by Fleming left hand rule. Left hand rule means this is the direction of current, direction of magnetic field, and this will be the direction of force. Correct now? So you can keep it like this. So this is the direction of magnetic field. See here perpendicularly downward, and this is the direction of current. So this will be the direction of force. The direction of force which is experienced by CD is towards AB. Correct now? Similarly, second conductor will also produce their own magnetic field. So what are the produced magnetic field at distance r? That will remains same, that is mu 0.4 pi 2 I2 by r, and the force experienced by first conductor, that will remains mu 0.4 pi 2 I1 I2 by r, but their direction is opposite. So here the direction of produced magnetic field by B1 and B2, by B1 it is downward and by B2 it is upward, because the direction of current C is reverse I1 and it is I2. See here, what is the produced magnetic field at point P due to CD? See here, and if we need to hold CD by right hand, then we insert the finger from this point and your finger will emerge outward, perpendicularly outward at point Q. So the direction of produced magnetic field at point Q due to current carrying CD, it is perpendicularly upward. So you will see finally the force experienced by conductor AB and CD are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. So F1 is equal to minus F2, means it follows the Newton's third law of motion. With the help of this force, we can define 1 ampere. See here, as you know, F is equal to mu 0.4 pi 2 I1 I2 by R, and the value of mu 0.4 pi 2 into 10 power minus 7 I1 I2 by R. So suppose if same current flown through each conductor, that is I, they are separated by distance 1 meter in air or vacuum, and force of attraction or repulsion between them is 2 into 10 power minus 7. Remember it, if the direction of current is same, then force of repulsion will take place here. Correct? Because the direction of force F1 and F2 are opposites, they will attract towards each other. and if the direction of current I1 I2 is reversed, then force of repulsion will take place. Correct now? So force of attraction or repulsion between them is 2 into 10 power minus 7. Put all these value here. So 2 into 10 power minus 7 is equal to 2 into 10 power minus 7 to I square, I1 I2 become I, so I square upon 1. So simply I square is equal to 1. So I is equal to 1 ampere. It means when two parallel infinite long conductor carrying equal current separated by distance 1 meter from each other in air or vacuum, and force of attraction or repulsion between them is 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton, then current flown through them will be equal to 1 ampere. This is the basic definition of 1 ampere. This is very important topic regarding the annual examination point of view. Now, what is the torque acting on current carrying conductor loop in a uniform magnetic field? Suppose it is uniform magnetic field on which a rectangular loop is kept and current I is flowing through it. Length of loop suppose L, width is B. See here in AB arm, the direction of current and magnetic field, they are perpendicular. So theta will be 0. So force acting on it by Lorentz force, Bill sine 90. So that is Bill. And force acting on BC arm, so see here the direction of current in BC is parallel to magnetic field, so theta will be 0. No any force will act on BC. Similarly, the force acting on CD, it is also Bill sine 90. So that is Bill, but the direction of force is opposite to the direction of force experienced by AB. Similarly, DA, no any force act because DA is itself parallel to magnetic field. It means in this complete armature, rectangular armature, two equal and opposite forces are acting, that is Bill and Bill. Correct now? Their direction is opposite, so what happen? A torque will act on it. Clear? So as you know by the definition, suppose here this point is B and this point is C. See here the length of BC is B, it is already given, and suppose BC makes an angle theta. So what is the value of torque act on armature? So at point B, force acting Bill along upward direction, at point C, force acting Bill, that is downward direction, and perpendicular distance between these two forces is B sin theta. Suppose if this angle is theta, so sin theta is equal to perpendicular by hypotenuse, so perpendicular B sin theta. So here MC, that is B sin theta, is the perpendicular distance between these two forces. So by the definition of torque, as you know, it is the product of force into perpendicular distance between the forces. It's couple of force acting on a body. So F is equal to Bill and MC, where perpendicular distance is equal to Bill sin theta. It becomes BIA because length into width is equal to area. So it is BIA sin theta. This A is the area of rectangular coil. And suppose if the number of turns in the coil is capital N, so net torque acting on it, it is Bina sin theta. Bina sin theta. What is theta now? Theta is the angle between B means magnetic field and area of the coil. Correct now? So suppose if when physically coil is kept perpendicular, it is kept physically perpendicular to magnetic field and the direction of area, as you know, perpendicular to the plane. So here A and B are parallel. Remember it, when physically perpendicular, then angle between area and magnetic field will be 0. So put here sin theta, instead of theta write down 0, so no any torque will act on it. Second case, if coil is physically kept parallel to magnetic field like this, so the direction of area is perpendicular to the plane, so area vector is perpendicular to magnetic field. So if physically kept parallel, then theta will be 90, so maximum torque will act on it, and which is here Bina, because sin theta become 1. Clear? So in this way you can calculate the torque acting on the coil in different position. Similarly, moving coil galvanometer, it is an instrument used to measure the electric current, and its action is based on the fact that when current carrying coil kept in a magnetic field, then a torque act on it, whose magnitude is depend on the strength of current, because as you seen, tau is equal to Bina, so tau is already depend on I flowing through it. By measuring the deflection of coil, strength of current can be measured. Clear? So generally it is of two types. One is suspended coil galvanometer and the other is pivoted coil galvanometer. This pivoted coil galvanometer be used in laboratory physics lab. Suspended coil galvanometer, generally it is used in big labs. Correct now? But the principle and working of both the galvanometer are same. It is the figure of suspended coil galvanometer. It is rectangular armature. These are number of turns. It is crowed. Correct? It's crowed. And these two are the concave poles of magnet. It is suspension wire and on which a plane mirror is attached. Suspension wire is made of phosphor branch because its torsional rigidity is less. Correct now? This is spiral spring which is also made of phosphor branch, and this frame is made of aluminium, and as you know concave poles is taken to produce radial magnetic. Radial means strong and uniform magnetic field around this armature. So what happens when current flown through, suppose if in between T1 and T2 if we connect a battery, so what happens, a current start flowing through it, and when current start flowing through it, then a deflecting torque will act on it, and torque is equal to, as you know, B na. B is the produced magnetic field, I is the strength of current, N is the number of turns, and A is the area of armature. A deflecting torque act on it, that is B na. Tau 1 is equal to B na. Okay, so suppose when armature get deflect due to deflecting torque, then a restoring torque will act on it, and which bring back to displaced coil to its mean position. Clear now? So suppose if restoring torque is tau 2, so this deflecting torque is proportional to angle of twist. Angle of twist means the angle by which the coil rotates. So if angle of rotation is more, then restoring torque that will be more. So tau 2 is proportional to alpha. Take proportionality constant, tau 2 is equal to C alpha. Actually this C is called torsional rigidity of suspension wire. Actually depend on nature of wire. So torsional rigidity of suspension wire, and which is made of phosphor branch, it is less, and this is the one of the reason that suspension wire is made of phosphor branch. So in equilibrium position, when it get deflect and restore like that, it means both torque is in equilibrium position. So tau 1 is equal to tau 2. So B na is equal to C alpha. So I is equal to C alpha by B na. Correct? So C, the torsional rigidity, B is the produced magnetic field, N is the number of turns, A is the area. All these are constant quantity, and it is called galvanometer constant, G, denoted by G. So I is equal to G alpha, or you can say current flown through galvanometer is proportional to angle of twist. Suppose if angle of twist is more, means strength of current is more. So by calculating alpha, we can calculate the strength of current, and alpha can be calculated by lamp and scale arrangement, and which is not in your syllabus, but we can measure it, as you know. In optics chapter we already studied कि by keeping incident ray fixed, if plane mirror get rotates with angle theta, then reflected ray get rotates with angle 2 theta. So since this plane mirror attached with the suspension wire, and this suspension wire get rotated with angle alpha, suppose, then this reflected ray get rotates with angle 2 alpha. So suppose it is lamp, which is called lamp and scale arrangement. It is lamp, it is incident ray, incident on the plane mirror, and it is initial reflected ray. Correct now? It is initial reflected ray get reflected towards P, and here it is vertical scale which is attached on the ball of the lamp. So when this plane mirror get rotates with angle alpha, suppose angle of twist is alpha, then reflected ray MP get rotates with angle 2 alpha and get incident at point P on the scale. Correct now? So see in this triangle PMQ, angle is 2 alpha, and this one is X, and suppose distance between plane mirror and scale is D. It is fixed. So angle is equal to arc by radius, means 2 alpha is equal to X upon D. So alpha is equal to X upon 2D. So instead of alpha here, put X upon 2D. X upon 2D. So it become now I is equal to C alpha upon 2BNAD. 2BNAD. Now C is known, B is the magnetic field, N is the number of turns, A is the area, and by measuring X and D, we can find the strength of current that flowing through galvanometer. It is highly sensitive instrument. It can measure the current up to the 10 to the power minus 9 ampere, means 1 nanoampere current can be measured accurately by this suspended coil galvanometer. And in pivoted coil galvanometer, what happened? Actually, this is the pivoted coil galvanometer. Both pivots, both axes, see here, this is the axis, and both get pivoted in between two pivots P1 and P2, and when current flown through it, then it start deflecting. So its pointer also get deflected and slide on the surface of circular scale, and with the help of position of the pointer of galvanometer in circular scale, we can measure the strength of current directly without any additional arrangement. So this pivoted coil galvanometer used in laboratory, but its sensitivity is less than previous one, suspended coil. It can measure the strength of current up to 10 to the power minus 6 ampere. 10 to the power minus 6 ampere. It means its sensitivity is less as compared to suspended coil galvanometer, but it is easy in use, and there is no additional arrangement is made for the measuring the strength of current. Correct, na? So it's all about galvanometer. Thank you.